Hey guys, in this video you will be learning how to assemble and disassemble a computer. Here are the parts and tools needed: chassis, hard disk, motherboard, I/O shield, CMOS battery, heat sink, power supply, RAM stick, processor, keyboard, mouse, VGA cord, monitor, automatic voltage regulator, pliers, screwdrivers, screws, SATA cables. First, open the chassis.
So today I will teach you how to put a power supply into the computer. So first of all, we can find the specification of power supply attached on its physical body. Now, let's find the place where our power supply will be attached. After finding a place where the power supply is located, carefully tuck it in inside the chassis. Now, as you can see, most of the power supply needs screw to be attached. In my case, the power supply I'm holding have 4 screws to secure that it won't fall from the back and avoid technical issues. So in this process, I just speed things up because I'm just making sure that screws are tightened up before it go to a final stage. After that, congratulations! Now you have a functional power supply.
The first step is to discharge currents by touching a metal object. The second is to open the latch of the CPU socket and place the CPU onto the motherboard correctly. On your CPU, there is a little golden triangle called the pin 1 orientation that is used as a reference point when installing your CPU onto your motherboard. The Central Processing Unit or CPU is the main component of a computer that executes instructions and processes data. After placing the CPU, close the latch to lock the CPU and prevent it from falling out from the motherboard. A motherboard is the main circuit board in a computer that connects and allows communication between various components. It serves as a central hub for the computer hardware. The third step is to apply thermal grease to the CPU. Thermal grease, also known as a thermal paste or thermal compound, is a substance applied between a CPU and its heatsink to enhance the heat transfer and improve cooling efficiency. And the last step is to attach the CPU cooler or heatsink to the motherboard and lock its push pins to complete the process. A CPU cooler is a device designed to dissipate heat from the CPU. typically consisting of a heatsink and a fan, or a liquid cooling system, to maintain optimal operating temperatures and prevent overheating.
Before we install our motherboard, we must first install our I/O shield onto our chassis. Then, followed by installing our motherboard. We should align the ports of our motherboard on the holes of our I/O shield. We secure our motherboard by screwing it in our chassis.
Hello everyone, now I'll be moving on to the installation of the RAM. First, what you're gonna wanna do is to locate the RAM slots. They usually look like long narrow slots with clips on either end. Now I'm gonna have to mention is that the RAM that this motherboard uses is a DDR3, which is a different notch alignment as you can see here. So you always have to check if the notch of the RAM stick is perfectly aligned with the slots. Afterwards, align the RAM stick with the slot and make sure the RAM is balanced and centered between the locks and push it down. You're gonna want to apply a bit of force and make sure you apply equal pressure on each side to prevent the RAM from breaking. Keep pushing down until you hear a clicking noise, and it may take a little bit of force, but it is fine. Once you hear the click, the RAM should be fully seated. Frequently, the latches pop up and lock it into place, just like that.
We begin by inserting the hard disk drive into its slot in the case. Now, the slot in the case can vary depending on the case. Some the HDD is found in the bottom for newer cases, but this time the HDD slot is located as such. A hard disk drive, or HDD, is an internal or external computer component that stores data, such as the operating system, applications, and user files. HDDs are non-volatile storage devices, meaning they retain stored data even when the power isn't being supplied. We then add the SATA cable. This is used to connect the hard disk drive to the motherboard so that it can communicate with the motherboard, and enabling the motherboard or the operating system to read and write on the hard disk drive. Now we then add the cable that comes from the power supply to supply power for the hard disk drive.
Then close the chassis. After assembling the computer, connect the cables from the system unit to the peripherals. Now it's time for the big moment. You will know that you have correctly assembled your computer if everything lights up and works correctly.
So we start by removing the cover, and we begin by unplugging all the wires. Once we're done with unplugging the wires, we begin with unscrewing the hard drive. Now begin with unscrewing the motherboard. After unscrewing the motherboard from the PC, we now remove the RAM by unhooking the clutches on the corner and removing the CMOS battery. We also unplug the heatsink and begin with unscrewing it.
Assemble and disassemble your